Okay, so we've all heard of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, which shows how humans prioritize certain desires. And love and belonging is right smack in the middle. But these days, the middle isn't enough. Our next guest says that expectations have shifted to make it actually higher on the pyramid. Eli Finkel, the author of The All or Nothing Marriage, is here, and he joins me now. So you say that in your book, the quote, the average marriage has been getting worse over time. However, the best marriages today are better than the best marriages of earlier eras. Indeed, they are the best marriages the world has ever known. I think that's such great news. And so I think, as I've been reading about this book, it seems like it's kind of the best practices of the best marriages.
Yeah, it's a book that talks about the way marriage has changed over time, the way our expectations have changed from the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy up to the top of Maslow's hierarchy, and as a result, it's harder to have a fulfilling marriage than it was in the past. But for those of us who get it right, the level of fulfillment is really special.
Absolutely. So some people feel like we're asking too much out of marriage, right? Yeah. That we want our partner to be our best friend, to share all our hobbies, to be, super cooperative on all the duties that surround marriage and children. So how do we manage expectations in a marriage so that we can all be happy?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is having high expectations puts us at risk, because the higher the expectations, the more likely we are to be disappointed by what we get. And it's for that reason that many of us are unhappy today in a marriage that would have been fulfilling for us, say, in the 1950s, for example. But it's also expectations that lead us to push for something special, that lead us to try to say, look, we can achieve something truly great here. And because we're able to push like that, we can achieve this level of fulfillment that was out of reach previously.
So you talk about in the book how we can reframe things. So, for example, if you say, my husband is late because, and you can say he's late because he's a thoughtless jerk. Yeah. Or you could change it and say, he really wants to get home. He's just stuck in traffic.
Exactly. We have a good deal of freedom and autonomy to decide how we're going to try to explain why he or she forgot something that was important to us, why he or she decided to do something generous for us. And if we want to have a fulfilling marriage and want to be happy in the relationship, making generous sort of explanations for our partner's behavior is a huge step in the right direction.
Right. It really puts you in the driver's seat and makes you see that you have more control. I always think that a lot of it has to do with how we feel, how our partner makes us feel as well. Yeah. One of the things that you talk about and that you say healthy marriages have is time together. Yeah. So how can couples really do that? By the way, I don't know if you know, I have 8 kids. Not easy to find alone time, but I have always believed that our family is only as healthy as our marriages.
Yeah. Today, we put a whole lot more time into very, very sensitive, attentive parenting than we did in the past. And I'm certainly not going to say we shouldn't be doing that. Right. But a lot of that parenting time comes at the cost of alone time with our spouse. And so an interesting question for a lot of families to address, and it sounds like one that you've taken seriously in your marriage as well, is how can I allocate the time in such a way that the relationship stays strong? And, oh, by the way, having a strong marriage is one of the best things you can do if you want to raise healthy kids.
It's the greatest gift you can give your kids. Now, you actually suggest, if you have a grandparent nearby, to sort of have a standing date where the kids go to the grandparents' house.
One of the ways that we can try to have one of these all marriages, the top of Maslow's hierarchy marriages, is to try to develop a deeper understanding of each other, a deeper connection with each other. And there's not going to be particularly good substitutes for time together.
Eli, this is great stuff. Best practices from the best marriages. Thanks for joining, and I hope people will look into it, because I think this is a really important topic.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it is too.